Here's why I think Brian Ortega will be able to defeat Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Alexander Volkanovski's last two fights, many people thought that he lost to Max Holloway. I thought he lost. I thought he won both fights. Sorry, not lost, but I thought he won both of those fights. But I feel that his striking is superb, but his ground game is a bit suspect. Volkanovski's ground game is not on Brian Ortega's level. Ortega's striking has also evolved at a high pace. He was able to beat Korean Zombie. And Korean Zombie has superb ground game, superb striking. He was in that fight of the year versus what's that guy's name again? The guy that he beat in the fight of the year when he got beat with the spinning elbow. Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez. It's kind of hard to pronounce his name. Yair Rodriguez. He's the guy from Mexico. He has a very good stand-up. And he got dominated by Frankie Edgar, but he was able to knock out Korean Zombie that was the fight of the year, 100%. I really enjoyed that fight. So that kind of says a lot about Brian Ortega. He was able to dominate Korean Zombie for 4 or 5 rounds. I thought he won every single round in that fight. I think Volkanovski's not big enough. He's a featherweight, but he's not a big featherweight. Like Brian Ortega is one of the biggest featherweights on the roster. He even said himself he walks around at 185. So just him walking around at 185, that kind of says a lot. I feel like he may even submit Volkanovski in this fight. If Volkanovski gets hurt on the feet, he may try to go for a takedown, and then Brian Ortega, having the ground game that he has, he's gonna submit Alexander Volkanovski in this fight. And then if he's on the feet and he doesn't get a takedown, I think he can beat him as well on the feet. Which that's definitely the harder path. The path of least resistance for Brian Ortega is to take Alexander Volkanovski down, take him to the mat. That's definitely the path of least resistance. But all of that to say, I'm aware of the weaknesses that Brian Ortega has. Volkanovski has the potential to be a very bad matchup for Brian Ortega because number one, Brian Ortega's wrestling is not top notch. It's not the best. Going into fights, he's not primarily looking for takedowns, and he doesn't really mix in his takedowns very well with his striking. And the credentials of a wrestler are not really there. So going into this fight, Volkanovski definitely does have a chance. Speaking devil's advocate for a moment, Volkanovski can win this fight by keeping it on the feet. He obviously has to come and fight on the inside because the reach advantage goes to Brian Ortega and the height advantage goes to Brian Ortega. But Volkanovski is used to fighting guys that are tall and long and very rangy. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. I think that if he digs to the body and possibly mixes in some takedowns and stays very heavy on top, avoids the triangles and the arm bars and the heel hooks and all of those crazy things that Brian Ortega has in his arsenal, and go for some ground and pound and then let him back up to his feet. It's a lot of things you can do. Even with a high level jiu-jitsu black belt, you can get the takedown and then just hold him there for a couple, 30 seconds, 1 minute, make him work, ground and pound, and then break the posture, make sure you don't get in the triangle or any arm bars, and then posture up, ground and pound, and then get back up, knock him down, and then finish him on the ground. Easier said than done, of course. You can just talk all day, but if you never actually do it, then it doesn't really matter. But Volkanovski, he's better off keeping it on the feet, and I think that's probably where the fight is gonna happen. Primarily, it's gonna be on the feet. Brian, just like I mentioned before, Brian Ortega's not really known for his takedowns, and he wasn't even able to take down Max Holloway in his fight. I know. He's transformed into a different Brian Ortega, but there's only so much you can do in 2 years. It was 2 years that he was away from the octagon. There's only so many things you can do in 2 years. You can learn a lot of things in 2 years, but once he gets hurt and he goes back to that deep dark place, potentially, if Volkanovski can make this a dogfight, make it a dogfight. That's the type of fight that Brian Ortega doesn't like, a dogfight. If you make it a dogfight and you stay on the inside and just do some dirty boxing, clip him, clip him, clip him, hit him, hit him, hit him. You get hit a lot as well, and then just make it a dogfight. Just make it a dogfight. Trade blows in the middle of the octagon. Create angles obviously for him as well. Create a lot of angles, high lows. Go to the body with some hooks to the liver. Definitely, high lows. Maybe apply some pressure with the jab. Go high, go low, and then maybe the takedown somewhere in there as well. Rip the body. And just stay in his face the whole time. Pressure, 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 pressure. Just use the game plan that Daniel Cormier used in his fight against Alexander Volkanovski. Very, very much a dirty boxing style based fighter. Stay on the inside. Don't let that the whole point of staying on the inside is that when you're fighting a long rangey opponent, you don't want him to get full extension on his punches, because that's where the momentum is. Because if you are, right up, okay, for example, if Volkanovski's head is right here, then Alexander Volkanovski can only hit from a small position. The distance isn't enough. The distance that he can create is not enough to, have enough force. It's like force equals mass times acceleration, it's basic physics. You can't create that much damage on that object when you're hitting from that position in that small distance. And that obviously creates less of a chance for him to knock you out. So I think that's his best chance to win the fight. Make it a dog fight. Just leave it all out there in the octagon. Make him feel everything. Make him feel every second of that fight. Make him work. Make him work extremely, extremely hard. Set a very high pace. But there's obviously conditions for that. You got to be in the best shape of your life, because what was that sound? But if you want to make it a dog fight and you want to pressure him and just stay in his face the whole 5 rounds, you got to be in excellent condition. You got to be very well versed in conditioning. You got to be in excellent condition, not just good condition, excellent condition. You got to be training hard for this fight, which I have no doubt that Volkanovski was training hard for this fight. He has wrestling coaches, jiu-jitsu coaches, striking coaches, just like Brian Ortega has wrestling coaches and jiu-jitsu coach and striking coach. This is going to be a great fight, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back and relax. It's going to be a great fight. I'm looking for a dog fight. That's what I want to see. But if Ortega is able to stay long, create angles, use the jab, throw in some low kicks, high kicks every now and then, high lows, stay. You don't have to give him. Don't give Volkanovski the chance to even come in on you. If you stick and move and create angles for this motherfucker, if Brian Ortega sticks and moves and just creates angles for this little dude, he can beat him. I think he can beat him, and he can beat him easy. And if he's very aggressive, throw the check hook. But obviously, I'm expecting all of this stuff from an MMA fighter. Ortega's got very good boxing, but maybe he doesn't have the boxing, expected to be able to pull all of these instructions that I'm giving him off. And if he listens to everything I'm saying in this video, I think he can pull off the victory. Stick and move. Make sure he doesn't. Footwork is key in this fight, because Volkanovski is going to try and stay on the inside. That's obviously what he's going to do. That's the only way he can land the punch. So create angles. Stay relaxed, stay on the outside, and just hit him on the outside, and keep him on the full extension of your punches to create the most damage. Every time he tries to come inside, clinch up, go for the takedown, stuff like that. It's pretty obvious what he has to do. Stay on the outside every time he comes inside, clinch with him, or throw some kicks. If he catches the kick and goes for grappling, then that's your world. That's where you are comfortable. That means that he's hooking with a hooker. He's fighting you where you're best. I don't think Volkanovski is gonna be doing too many takedowns early in the fight because there's no sweat. Early in the fight, there's no sweat. So if Ortega is able to get a sweep and keep him, in mount, that's a very dangerous position for Volkanovski because Ortega is very good with arm bars and triangles. All that being said, I can talk all day, but we have to watch the fight. And these two gentlemen, these two fighters, have to fight it out so we can see who's gonna win. If Volkanovski defends his title again, I would like to see Max Holloway fight Giga Chikadze, or he should fight Yair Rodriguez. And then he can fight Volkanovski again. But I think he should earn it a bit more. I know he beat him in the second fight, but I don't want to see too many of those rematches, because I want to see the other fighters get a chance to fight for the title. I don't want to see Max Holloway continuously getting the shot until he pulls up a better win streak. Let's look at Max Holloway's record real quick. And I know he's obviously very impressive. I saw the performance against Kelvin Keita. That was one of the best fights I've seen in my life. Okay, so Calvin Keita, he beat him with, that was like one of the best fights I've seen in my entire life. But anyways, Volkanovski, let's see his record. The last time he lost was against Corey Nelson. Before Chad Mendes, yeah, okay. Aldo, yeah, okay. Jeremy Kennedy, okay, cool. And the man doesn't know how to lose. But I think this is his toughest fight, except, if you take away the Max Holloway fight, I think this is his toughest opponent. I think this is his toughest opponent outside of the Max Holloway fight. I think this is Volkanovski's toughest opponent because Ortega has the ground game and he has the striking to match. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, tell me what you guys think about this fight. UFC 266 is very close, and tell me what you guys think about my predictions.